Good morning. We are live. There's a lot of noise and sounds. The dog just finished her food. The kettle's going for some coffee later. And we are doing great. It is 7:18 on a Sunday. I could easily blame the kids and just my schedule routinely. It was his turn to get me up this time. She needed to go, so we let her out. Contemplated on doing something real, like not rambling, like I've been doing in the past couple of podcasts, which I don't think is bad, but it's always good to have a topic to tackle. So I have a couple of topics. I don't want to talk about them right now. So let's see if we can create a topic that's based around coffee. Let me give you updates. So I did have the inspector come by the location to where the coffee is going to be processed or shipped. It was interesting. No complaints. She said she'll come back when I'm ready. She told her mid-January. Um, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, it will happen, but it's just a lot of things to juggle and deal with. Their place looked pretty good, but there's no setup, no, prep packing station and all that stuff. So I think by the end of this month, I'll make a go at my brother's shop, try that, and then just start packing things there, taking them there, getting them ready. I do have a station kind of idea. I'll take one of my grinders over there. I need to put batteries in my scale, one of my extra scales, and I'll be ready for that. What else? Bags. I just paid for my bags. My bags are they're a lot, but not most, but a big cost of it is the actual plates. These plates are a little different because I got front and also back. So I do have places where, and I decided to go ahead and not go too specific to what I wanted because I don't know actually right now. So it'll be easier to put a small little sticker on where I need to in a couple places. So I'm looking forward to kind of exploring that logic, that idea. And I think it'll work out a lot better. I am going to be looking into fonts, different fonts, and if that doesn't really help me, then I'll probably look into different machines because sometimes the machine kind of has that cheapness to it just because of the font. But I can see if I can add or find different fonts and play around with that during the winter time or the Christmas time or Xmas, whatever you want to call it. So that's looking lovely. And I've been liking using my bags. I'm using one bag right now, the 2-pound bag, and just using it like anybody else would probably use it. And it's really eye opening. It lets you know like how much coffee you have left, the presentation and all, and kind of gives you more of a feel of things. I think that's a good way to talk about things and topics in general. Um, One thing that I've been struggling with, which again I think this is a worthy topic, is being geek, coffee geek, okie, playing with my tools that I have that really helps me out, dials things in, or going from the palette. And what I mean by that is that there's many times where I trust myself and it's spot on, and sometimes it's not. And I want to be more like my clients, customers, whatnot. meaning that they're not going to spend this much money in order to get tools to dial in their coffee. Hell, I can't. A lot of them won't even buy proper coffee machines in order to, you know, brew the coffee. So why would they spend money on gadgets and things that will be far too far into the rabbit hole? So I think that's a worthy topic. I don't think I've written that down, and I won't be mad at myself for doing one of my topics that I really want to talk about or kind of prepare. But, in this case, one of the things that's important is emulating and understanding people. And the best way to do that is do what they do. You know how they say, do as they do in Rome. So wherever you're at, you kind of do the things that the locals do, understanding what they do and having a good time with it and just experiencing it that way. Of course, you can branch out and do your own thing. But let me get back to what I'm trying to talk about is that it's very simple. People get coffee, they buy coffee, they buy it for whatever reason. They open said coffee, they either grind the coffee or it's already ground, and they put it in their respective coffee maker. That's it. They more than likely go for the exact same scoops that they usually go for, and they taste the coffee and they drink the coffee. They may analyze the coffee, but for the most part, they're not doing anything out of the realm. So that's the thing that I need to get back to basics, because I think we as coffee roasters, we tend to try to control every aspect of the experience in the process. We want people to drink coffee a certain way. We want them to drink it black. We want them to drink it at 92 degrees Celsius. I have no clue what that is in Fahrenheit. It's very low. I don't like coffee that low. We want them to swirl the coffee, move it around. They want them to pour a certain way, use a certain device. We want them to use different waters in order to showcase that coffee in its best light. That's a good thing, That's a good thing that the roasters want to do for that person. But is it really? Because I think one of the things that I'm starting to realize for a while actually, is that we just want control. We just want that person to say, it's damn good coffee. I'm going to buy another bag and let's keep it pushing. We don't really care about the psychological or I don't know if that's the right word, the care of the person. Think about it. We want to control you. We want to do all these things in order for you to say, damn, that's a good cup of coffee. But if it was really good, then just let them do the thing that they usually do, Because at the end of the day, that's really what matters. I remember my dad when I brought him some of my coffee, and he used this old crappy Mr. Coffee machine. And I think I tried to manipulate it, but I just gave it to him, and he drank it, and he was like, yeah, that's some good coffee. So people can tell, even with their crappy coffee machines and whatever they may use, whatever water they may use. That's why I'm not a big fan about trying to map out, showcase, or manipulate, or construct the perfect water. that doesn't really matter. I mean, at the end of the day, you want somebody to enjoy something as much as they can. And that's where doing more so what they do on a daily, on a routine basis, and truly trying to understand the psychological reasonings of that. I think that's where at least I will understand and to give them the best possible product that I can. And it's more so what they probably prefer too. We're grown people, grown as people. And I don't know about you, but if you work somewhere or you have a family or even if you have a business, whatnot, you do answer to somebody. You can't be a dick or asshole about the situation. And you have to listen to people, understand where they're coming from. Good morning. Okay. And you have to meet them where they are, right? So quite a bit of times it's one of those things to where when you're on your free time, when you're making dinner, even when you're making dinner, sometimes it's usually for other people. You can't go too crazy with the spices. You can't smoke something 4 or 5 times a week. um, you have to think about other people when you do things in life all the time. And there's only so many moments that we do have full control of our destiny. And one of those destinies is making a good cup of coffee the way you make it without somebody else trying to tell you what to do, what not to do, how to manipulate it to best showcase the coffee for their psyche, you know? No, no. This is your cup. And I think that's one of the things that really surprised my brother when he came down. He was really, I think he felt extremely comfortable because there was no judgment. It was like drink it the way you want to and just have fun and explore, you know? And that's really what it's about. It's not about me. I've I presented this, I've given you something that I believe wholeheartedly that you enjoy on a daily basis, you know? But it's truly up to you to really enjoy it the way you want to. So that's where I'm getting back to basics, just getting the coffee. I guess I do have a coffee measuring scoop, but for the most part, I'll just scoop a couple of, I'll do that today. It will pain me, but I'll scoop a couple of scoops of coffee, grind it. I won't even weigh it out. I won't even weigh out the water. I'll just kind of pour and see what happens and see what that experience gives me. Because that's really what's it about. It's not so much about me trying to control you. You have so many other things to control you, to push you on the way that you want to go or don't want to go. And it's just me to just sit back and just give you a product that you're happy with each and every time. So yeah, so I'm getting back to basics. I'll try it out for like a week or two for the rest of this year. And I think the only thing I'll do is just leave the temperature at what it is and have fun with that and then go from there, you know? So yeah, I think it's pretty good, right? I was kind of on topic today. I rambled just a little in the beginning and I got into it and now I'm about to ramble. One of my favorite podcasts. The message is good. They talk a long time. I don't know if I'll get there, and quite frankly, I think it's best to get to the point when you're doing these type of things. People are busy and all that good stuff, but it's called Mind Pump. It's a exercise fitness podcast, and they have podcasts about 4 to 5 times a week, and it's a bunch of guys. It's 3 to 4 of them. One of the other guys, he doesn't really talk that much, but he's there to like help facilitate, put graphics on the screen so they can help better communicate their point. But I used to hate it, actually. I still do it times three. I still listen to a podcast times three, sometimes one, but most of the time at that speed. But what they usually do is that they have a topic, right? And they probably talk about it in the beginning just to hook you, as they said in their podcast. Um, how to do podcasts episode. And then but I would say for about the first, not every time, it's kind of structured, it's kind of not structured, but for the first 20 to 30 minutes, probably even longer, they'll just ramble. They just talk about what's going on in their lives and current events and stuff like that. And they're not trying to be experts on that stuff. They just want to give their thoughts and opinions about that. But it doesn't even talk about what they're trying to really talk about, you know? And I think what happened with me is that I started to loosen up on getting somebody to the point. You know, it felt good. It felt refreshing to be like, oh, okay, this is what you're going to talk about first. And it gives you a little bit more of a glimpse into their lives and what they're doing and what they care about, even political stuff. Sometimes it can get, people feel a certain way if somebody gets political or whatnot, or religious or whatnot, but they just go for it. They talk about it for a little bit and then they move on to the topic. Because a lot of times when they're talking about these things, there's many times where they just kind of repeat a lot of stuff, which is perfectly fine. It's like fitness. I remember when I was in school doing my professional engineering test. May talk about that in the future. I don't know how that's going to relate or helpful. But again, it doesn't matter. It gives you a more of a glimpse of that person, understanding those people. You're not so much on topic. You are on topic, but you get people more about who you are as a person and how you think logically. So that's where I'm at with that. So that's what they do. When they do it, it's pretty cool because it's almost to the point where that's the part that I look forward to. Now, I know what they're going to say with sets and reps, or they may have a different spin about it, but they're really like loose and open with the logic of fitness and how anything and everything works, but also having some structure and balance to the overall nature of that realm. But they spend quite a bit of time rambling, and I believe they do that because it helps break the ice. It loosens people up. It gives them a reason to stay, and that's good. And it's their style, and it's something that I really do like now that I've witnessed it quite a bit, and it gives you a more so reason to stay. So yeah, so hopefully, eventually, and hopefully now that you have a reason to stay, and I hope that you do get more from what I'm saying, and also more about my personality, the way I take, and way it probably helps you, and probably even the way it influences the way I roast coffee. There's many times where I try to tell people that I get a lot of my philosophies, techniques just from cooking, right? Which is true. But, just me being a person of the world and doing the things that I do and the way I go about it and learning from different people, it all of it matters. And it does influence the way I go about things. And I'm liking the journey of it, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so now I will spend some time this week just making coffee, which just saying it out loud takes a lot off me, off my plate. And then I will finalize my listing photographs, picking. I think I got somebody I want to do that too. Do that for me, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, one of these people thought I wanted their service for to help with my listings and all that for like 400, 350 a month. And I said, no, I just need some pictures, man. I just need some pictures. I can do it myself, but I can't do everything. He said $400. So hopefully I do use or find these people that are more so what I'm looking for. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah. So that's what I got planned this week. Looking forward to all this good stuff, this cool stuff. And I hope that you have a great day. And, you know, I don't know what catchy phrase or saying to say to you right now, but, you know, I guess it's kind of the motto, the theme of this podcast episode is that, we only control only so many things, right? So I don't want to control you. I want to give you something that you're used to. Don't get me wrong. I'll give you tips and tricks of trying to make a better cup, but that's up to you to take it. Just like me asking for advice from my wife or anybody else. I'll listen. I'll see if it makes sense for me. But it's ultimately up to me to take that advice and run with it. Same here. Same thing to you. Here's some good damn cup of coffee. And I just want to present it to you. That's it. And like I said, even if you don't get my coffee or drink it or whatnot, I want to give you tips and tricks to hope to give you something that you can enjoy even more so. So yeah, I am working on a couple of series of blog posts, also some video of using like a measuring cup, something everybody has in their house, as a coffee maker. And yeah, so we'll see how that works and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that'll be cool. I think so. And I'm thinking about either voicing my opinions during the video or doing a voiceover. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be interesting. I think I'm leaning towards voiceover, but I'll just, I can do both. I can talk about it. And then if I don't use the sound, if I don't like it the way I say things, I will go ahead and do the voiceover over it. That'll be funny. There's been a while ago when there's some YouTube skits. I think it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some other like old school like cartoons back in the days when I was watching them. And I don't know if these people still do that. I'm sure they probably found work because of that. I'm gonna probably look it up after I get off this call or this podcast. But they will do voiceovers, and the voiceovers are just funny, hilarious. Just I have to like repeat it so many times, and I think the reason why is because it was just like they're just reacting to it like live, and when they watched it, nothing seemed rehearsed. It was as authentic as it can be, and I think the voiceover part of it, even though I know that if I'm doing a video of me actually uh brewing some coffee will be kind of interesting. So yeah, so we should see how that works. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Later. Bye.